And it all started with a man by the name of Lester C. Guile and the team he assembled. All of them, except Uncle Les, are here today. And I don't know where they are, so I'm going to say your name if you want to just give us a little wave. Milt Smid, here, there he is. Ken Wilhelms. My mom and the first lady to serve as chair, Kathy Fran. And Harold Udolph, which I think Hal's over there. Goes over there. In the early 80s, the trustees had publicly deemed the village broke, and a movement to consolidate the municipalities in St. Louis County was growing. Having already served as chairman during the late 1950s, newly retired business executive Les Guile signed up for another stint, this time to get the village back on track and to keep us independent. His goals were financial stability, a village-owned town hall, and a focus on infrastructure. He succeeded his goals, and with his leadership, the unforeseen, whether it was good or bad, somehow was always turned into a positive for the village. In those 15 years Les served, the village's finances turned around. We built our own town hall without a tax increase and without borrowing money. The village welcomed the Ulysses S. Grant National Historic Site into our boundaries, which was made possible first by a group of residents and neighbors forming Save Grants Whitehaven, which I know a lot of them are here today as well. You want to stand up or wave? I know Janine Cook is here, and Harold Udolph again was involved. Janine's still involved. You'll still see her volunteering 25 years later. And second, by an effort led by Ken Wilhelms and the trustees to ensure the site was transferred back to its rightful home here in Grantwood after Crestwood had annexed it. We also successfully fought the United States government in a landmark case involving the Rails to Trails Act and property owners' rights, and we became the first municipality to contract with St. Louis County Police for full-time police services. Les passed away 1 month after seeing the completion and dedication of the town hall during the village's 60th anniversary celebration. The village lost a father, and in many ways, they lost a savior. If you were fortunate to know Uncle Les, you knew a true gentleman whose heart only knew service and responsibility, and whose love for this village was second only to love of God and his family. We were fortunate to have, I believe some of his daughters are here today, and some of his families are with us. I want to just thank you for being here. Interesting too, not only did Les serve on the board twice, but he's also president of the Forest Haven Association, which he resurrected in the early 80s before he came on as trustee. My grandfather also served as president of the Forest Haven Association, and I am honored to hold that position today. The team he assembled had big shoes to fill. They accepted the challenge and succeeded in a way which would have made him proud. When the last member of the team left the board in 2012, the village was debt-free, boasted the largest cash reserves in history, continued their historic and cooperative relationship with the first-class St. Louis County Police Department, improved our common ground, turning barren space into parks with benches, lush green grass, and expansive gardens. They grew our relationship and increased cooperation with St. Louis County government and its departments, Grant's Farm, and the Ulysses S. Grant National Historic Site. But ultimately, Grantwood was positioned to celebrate many more anniversaries. I know what you're thinking, and yes, I will admit it, I am biased. Not only did that team include my mom, the other 4 members soon became a second family to me as well. Regardless of how you feel about everything I've mentioned today, consider this. I was 7 years old when I sat in the leaky garage behind Sam's Steakhouse, which was then serving as the town hall, to watch my mom be sworn in as a trustee. And I'm not going to be able to look at her. So I'm sorry if I'm looking down. In the next 22 years, I saw good things happen. I knew at even a young age, at some level, she was responsible for them. As her tenure lengthened, I saw her devotion to service strengthen and her love for this village deepen. Both my parents have set wonderful examples for me throughout my life, but imagine how it was as a young girl, watching your mom, the only lady serving with a board full of gentlemen, make a difference not just in your life, but in the lives of others. And to witness her unwavering concern and undying love of this village, even when it was no longer asked of her, is a life lesson and service I am forever grateful I was able to experience. How can we not love this village? How can anyone live here and not be happy that they're a resident and part of this wonderful community? 30 years I've lived here almost, and I still get a smile on my face every time I pull into the entrance. And seeing a large number of former residents here today only confirms what many of us already knew. We are truly blessed to call Grantwood our home. There are a few cities who can claim its history and its beauty, but we are lucky enough to have such wonderful assets as this historic site, Grant's Farm, and Sam's Steakhouse, which as I got older I appreciate more and more. You know why. And it's all right here in our own backyard. Writing this book was truly an honor. If for no other reason, it allowed us to share our village with others and tell stories most do not know. I hope I hope you all buy the book, because there's plenty in there, and I have plenty as well. I hope everyone buys the book, but I hope everyone leaves here today, and perhaps after reading the book, develops a greater appreciation for what we have here in Grantwood, and in life as well. I look back at what Grantwood has given me, the experiences, the education, the neighbors who have become family, the appreciation for its history, the responsibility to preserve it, the understanding that we cannot take anything for granted, and that there is no challenge we cannot overcome if we face it together as neighbors and friends, and while always putting Grantwood and community above our own interest. Of contracting for hourly patrols and whatnot. So we have a long history with the county police, and because our officer Mike is here as well, and we have so many officers, if you'd like to say a few words, we appreciate it. Thank you.
On the book.
Thank you very much.
Good afternoon. I have my own history here, to be quite honest with you. I started patrolling Grantwood Village in 1983. Raise your hand if you remember a guy named Jack Inglesby. God rest his soul. Jack was Jack was the only Grantwood Village officer I think you ever had. That was actually a Grantwood Village employee. So I was a brand new police officer right out of the academy in 1983, and my training officer said, you have to go get in the car today and ride around with Jack Inglesby for a while, because he's going to show you Grantwood Village. And I knew Grantwood Village because my family grew up in Webster Groves, but I'd never really been in the inner parts of Grantwood Village. So they put me in the car with Jack Inglesby. Remember that raspy voice? And Jack says, I'm going to take you by the old man's house and let you see the old man. And I'm not exactly sure at that point who the old man was, but it was Gussie Bush Jr., Gussie. So we go up to the back of the house, and Gussie's home. We could see him in the kitchen in the back area. So Gussie looks out, and he sees the police car out there, and he does one of these, come on in, and we go inside. This is on a Sunday afternoon, early in the afternoon. I'd come on at 2:30. And he was watching a Cardinal baseball game on his black and white television in the kitchen with aluminum foil on the rabbit ears. That's what Gussie was doing. That was my first real exposure to Grantwood Village. So, as you heard, the county police department is a big part of the history of this village. You were our first contract in 1957. We have 20 of those today, so you really paved the road for all of the other cities that have become our customers. So we appreciate that. We like being your police department here in Grantwood Village. We feel like we're just a part of as much of this village as everybody that lives here. It's our pleasure to be your police department, and we enjoy the great crime-free village of Grantwood Village. So,